Hey everyone, welcome back to another all-you-can-board how to play, and today we are taking a look at the brand new game from Renegade Games, and that is Subastral. But let me tell you, this game is not subpar. Yeah, I know that was awful, but this game is not, and this actually is a spiritual successor of sorts to Stellar. Now, Stellar is a game that we have covered on this channel as well. You'll see even the boxes kind of have this like similar look to them. This is a game by Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback. They did Stellar, they've also done Subastral, and we also covered Three Sisters, which they've done as well. So we've covered a bunch of their games, we're big fans. Stellar was a 2-player only game, Subastral actually plays 2 to 5. There are some differences, but you can tell that it was inspired a lot by Stellar. So today, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to get Subastral to the table just a little bit quicker. It's not that complex of a game, but there's some nuances with the scoring and what you're trying to do strategically that you might not catch on to at first glance of the rulebook. I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you. Let's jump right in. To set up, first construct the biome deck. Refer to the rulebook and remove certain cards depending on how many players are in your game. Then shuffle it. Deal 3 cards to each player. Take the game end card and insert it into the deck at a different spot depending on the player count. Refer to the rulebook and your player count. Place the 6 cloud cards in a row in the center of the table in numerical order. Place the biome deck next to the 1 and the sun card next to the 6. Reveal 6 cards from the biome deck and place 1 face up on each cloud. Then reveal 2 more and place them on the cloud that matches that card's number. If they're the same number, discard one and draw a new one until they're not the same. Now you're ready to play. Alright, so in Subastral, the cards that you're collecting span 8 different biomes, and you're trying to score for mixed sets, basically for diversifying how you collect them across the 8 biomes, but also in matching sets, as in how many you collect from a specific biome. Each of these is going to go score differently at the end of the game. We'll go over those at the end of the video. Now, the way that you collect these cards and place them into your journal, which is what we call where you're collecting these cards and where you're scoring, is where things get interesting, because you're not just playing cards from your hand to your journal. That's not how the game works. You're going to be actually playing cards onto one of these 6 clouds that are on the center of the table, and then depending where you've played, you're going to take cards from another cloud either to the left or right of where you've played. And depending if you go to the left or right, the cards that you take are either going to go into your hand or into your journal. So you're kind of having to balance collecting cards into your hand that'll allow you to collect more cards in the future, or collecting cards that are going to go specifically into your journal. But which cards are on those clouds is going to change how you perceive this and what your strategy is. There's a lot to consider here. Now, every turn, there are 3 phases to the turn that have to happen. They are mandatory. So let's go over what those 3 steps are now. First, play a card. Choose a biome card from your hand and play it face up onto a cloud in the center row. You must play it onto the cloud that matches the number of the card you are playing. If that spot already has cards, simply add the new card to the other so that all cards remain visible. Next, step 2 is take cards. Choose any other cloud in the center row and take all the cards from that cloud. You can't choose the spot you played a card to. What you do with these cards you pick up will depend on where the spot is that you're taking it from in relation to the one you placed cards on in the first step. If you take from a spot to the left of the one you played cards onto, take these cards into your hand. If you take from a spot to the right of the one you played cards onto, play all these cards into your journal. If you add them to your journal, you simply place them in front of you with each biome getting its own pile. If you have already started a pile for that biome in front of you, simply continue adding those biome cards to that pile. If you are playing your first card for a particular biome, simply start a new pile in the order from left to right that the cards are played. The order you play the cards matters. You can choose the order you play cards from multiple biomes that you've picked up, and you create new biome piles from left to right. You can never start a new biome pile between previously started biomes. You must continue in a new pile to the right of the last pile you started. Note, if you ever play cards on cloud 1 or 6 and you choose to take cards from cloud 6 or 1 respectively, you can choose to add these cards to your hand or your journal. The choice is yours, but you can't split the cards between the 2 options. If you choose to add them to your hand, you draw a bonus card from the top of the biome deck. The last step of the turn is to refill the row. Simply reveal the top card of the biome deck and place it face up on the empty cloud that you drew cards from. Then check to make sure there are at least 2 clouds that have 2 or more cards on them. If so, your turn is over. If not, reveal an extra card from the deck and place it face up on the cloud that matches its number. Continue doing this until at least 2 clouds have 2 or more cards on them. After this, the turn passes to the next player, and you just keep doing this until someone draws the game end card from the deck. Now you'll remember you put this into the deck at a specific spot based on the player count at the start of the game. Once this is drawn, you will finish the round so that everyone has had an equal amount of turns, and then everyone will get 1 more turn, and then the game ends and you proceed to final scoring. Players score in 2 categories, mixed sets and matching sets. To score mixed sets, you start from the left in your journal and count how many unique cards you have in an unbroken chain across the biomes. The minimum is 1 and the max is 8, as there are 8 biomes. There is a chart in the rulebook that shows how these score, with a chain of 1 giving 1 point and a chain of 8 giving 36 points. Remember though that the chain needs to be unbroken. So for instance, let's say I have a full chain of 8 cards in the first chain I count and score 36 points. Now I am counting a second chain of cards, and the first 5 biomes from left to right have a card on them. If I am counting from left to right and have 5 different biomes in a row, and then have a gap in the 6th biome pile, and then have biomes again in 7 and 8, this would only count as a chain of 5, because the gap in biome 6 breaks the chain. It would not include the biomes in 7 and 8. You do not score for the cards after the chain is broken either. Keep doing this for each row in your journal from left to right. As soon as you don't have a card in the first spot of your journal, you are done counting mixed sets. For matching sets, simply score the 2 biggest matching sets in your journal. Any ties are broken from left to right in your journal. For each of these 2 biggest sets, you score an amount of points for each card in the set equal to its spot in the journal. So for instance, if your biggest set was in pile 1 of your journal, you score 1 point for each card in the set. However, if your biggest set was in pile 8, you score 8 points for each card in the set. So in this way, a matching set of 4 cards in pile 1 only gets you 4 points, but a matching set of 4 cards in pile 8 earns you 32 points. Position matters. Tally the scores and the person with the most points wins. And that is how you play Subastral. Now I know that some of the scoring can seem complicated. Honestly, it's the only part of this game that I think has any complication to it. It really just comes down to how you've positioned the things that the biomes you've collected in your journal. So, you know, the position of which biome is in which pile, how many are in those piles, which of your matching sets has the most, and which pile they end up in, all of that matters. After you've played this game once or twice, that scoring is going to catch on, and then you're going to be golden, and you're going to completely understand the scoring, and it's going to, you know, influence your strategy in the future games you play. But hopefully this video helped you get this game to the table just a little bit quicker and helped you understand that a little bit more. If you like this video, if it helped you out, consider leaving a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend. We appreciate all the support. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.